The sun hasn't even touched the Texas horizon, and yet trouble is already awake. In Landman Season 2, Episode 2, the quiet isn't peace. It's pressure. It's the sound of an empire stretching thin. Because this time, power is shifting, secrets are breathing, and one man is about to lose control of everything he fought to own. Tommy Norris knew this day would come. The day when coffee wouldn't be enough, when the stress of MTX oil would feel like a storm sitting on his chest. Episode 1 left us with a family in chaos, a company in danger, and a mother buried before her story was ever told. But Episode 2, that's where the real fight begins. Because now Tommy has to deal with a ghost he has avoided his entire life. His father, TL. TL does not walk into this episode quietly. He carries the weight of a man who lost the only person holding him together. And when Tommy arrives at that assisted living home, he doesn't find a broken old man. He finds a wildfire sitting in a chair, staring at a sunset like it's the last law on Earth. TL is not done living. He is not done fighting. And he certainly is not done taking back the world that stopped listening to him. Meanwhile, Cammy Miller is no longer a silent widow standing behind the memory of Monty. No. She is ready to sit in the throne Monty left behind. Episode 2 pushes her forward, faster, harder, and sharper than anyone expected. The partners underestimate her. The board whispers behind closed doors. But they forget one thing. Cammy doesn't care if they like her. She cares if they obey. And Tommy sees it. He sees Cammy making deals without him, taking decisions he used to control. He can feel her building something dangerous, something that could either save MTX or destroy him. She is becoming the kind of leader that doesn't blink when men twice her age try to challenge her. The kind of leader who will burn an entire legacy before letting anyone steal it from her hands. But while the corporate battlefield gets louder, the land gets richer. Because Cooper, Tommy's son, has struck oil. And not a rumor, not a maybe. A real oil while pumping money faster than he can understand. Yet power, especially oil money, is never a blessing in Landman. It's a weapon. And Cooper just handed everyone a reason to either use him or bury him. Ariana is terrified, and not just by the drilling rigs or the dangerous men watching them, but by something she hasn't said out loud yet. Something Tommy asked her once, and she didn't answer. A secret that could divide everything they're trying to build. Because oil is not the only thing growing beneath their feet. And then comes an Inslee, still floating inside a world that protects her from consequences, still carrying her last name like armor. Episode 2 will drag her out of it. Hard. Because Tommy doesn't have space in his life for another scandal. Not now, not when his father is coming home, when Cammy is rewriting the company rules, when Cooper might be sitting on a fortune that no one wants him to keep. This family is a fuse burning at both ends, and the spark is getting closer. But the moment everything begins to crack is when Tommy picks up the phone. The voice on the other end isn't talking business. It isn't asking for favors. It is trembling. Because TL has stopped listening to doctors, to friends, to reason. If Tommy doesn't take him home, TL will burn down the only place willing to keep him alive. And Tommy knows one thing. When TL enters his house, he does not come alone. He brings memory. He brings pain. And he brings a history that can ruin what little control Tommy has left. For the first time since Monty died, Tommy isn't fighting outsiders. He's fighting blood. Tommy brings TL home, but the house doesn't welcome him. It holds its breath. The moment TL steps inside, the air changes. This is a man who built his life in the dirt, in the sound of engines and drilling rigs, not inside polished hallways. He looks at Tommy's world like it's a cage wrapped in luxury, and without saying a word, he makes Tommy feel like it's a prison he chose for himself. TL wastes no time. He begins asking questions about MTX, about Monty's death, about Cammy's sudden rise to power. And he asks in a way that cuts deeper than any business meeting could. TL doesn't want numbers. He wants truth. And Tommy hates that truth because TL can see straight through him, past his title, into the man he never wanted to be, a leader without control. At the MTX offices, Cammy continues her quiet takeover. She is no longer waiting for Tommy to approve her moves. She has already made calls, reached out to partners, and hinted that changes are coming. The cruel beauty in Cammie's strategy is that she uses Monty's legacy like a shield, and those board members, men who once dismissed her, are starting to listen. They are realizing that Cammie doesn't need permission to lead. She only needs an opening. And Tommy gave her one the second he hesitated. Tension rises fast. Tommy tries to reason with her, tries to tell her that they must move carefully or risk losing everything Monty built. But Cammie looks at him with the calm of someone who has already accepted a different truth. Power isn't kept by playing safe. Power is kept by striking first. And that terrifies Tommy. Because while he struggles to keep MTX from slipping through his fingers, Cooper's oil discovery becomes the kind of news that spreads faster than wildfire. Landmen, brokers, and dangerous opportunists begin sniffing around the property. Trucks slow down when passing the drilling site. Strangers show up asking questions they should know to ask. Cooper tries to stand strong, but Ariana sees the threat before he does. She sees the danger in every shadow, every vehicle, every phone call that sounds like a promise but tastes like a trap. And then it happens. Ariana's fear becomes real. She tells Cooper what she has been holding inside. She might be pregnant. The words hit him harder than any business deal, harder than the reality of oil. Cooper is suddenly standing at the crossroads of two futures, one paved with money and danger, the other with responsibility he never trained for. And even worse, he knows what Tommy will say. He knows this child, if it exists, will pull him closer to the life he has been trying to escape. Because with a baby, there is no running to the rigs, no chasing oil as if it's salvation. Meanwhile, Aninsley begins to understand that her acceptance into Texas Christian University didn't change who she is. Everyone still sees her as the protected daughter of a rich oil family. A world is opening for her, yes, but it is also laughing at her. The episode hints that she may start to push back, to prove she is not just a last name, but the path will not be pretty. And Tommy cannot afford another scandal, not now. Inside the Norris home, TL listens to the voices, listens to the house, and speaks like a man who has seen every kind of ruin. He warns Tommy that Cammie is not the threat he should fear most. The real danger is the land itself, the oil, the power, and the hungry men waiting in the dark. Tommy tries to ignore him, but he can't. Because TL has seen this world long before Tommy ever tried to control it, and he knows exactly how fast it can destroy a family. Before the night ends, TL tells Tommy something he wasn't ready to hear. If you don't take this company back now, boy, you're gonna lose more than oil. You're gonna lose blood. And Tommy realizes that episode 2 is not about a business fight. It's about survival. It's about legacy. And it's about a father who might be the only one ruthless enough to save him. Morning comes, but nothing feels lighter. Tommy wakes not to peace, but to footsteps. TL is already outside, staring at the fields like they're speaking to him. Tommy tries to ignore the storm building at MTX, at home, within himself, but it follows him into episode 2 like a shadow he can't outrun. The day begins with a board call that is supposed to be simple, procedural, routine. It isn't. Cammie arrives with new language in the contracts, language she never discussed with Tommy. She stands tall, calm, certain, and when one of the partners questions or changes, she smiles, not kindly, but like a warning. She explains that MTX cannot survive by defending its ground. It must expand. It must hunt. It must evolve. The room goes quiet. Tommy stares at her, realizing something he didn't want to see. Cammie doesn't need his protection anymore. She is becoming the storm Monty once was. And the board likes it. Tommy tries to argue, tries to remind everyone that Monty trusted him with leadership, but the truth hits him like a punch. This isn't about Monty anymore. This is about the future. And Cammie is building a future where Tommy might not fit. Meanwhile, back on the land, Cooper faces a different kind of negotiation. Men approach him, land agents, oil speculators, people with smiles too wide and offers too good. They tell him they can expand his operation, double his production, unlock wealth he never imagined. But Ariana sees their eyes. And she knows what they see when they look at Cooper. a young man who doesn't yet know what his signature is worth. Ariana tries to warn him, tells him that money cannot protect him from the danger he's stepping into, especially with a possible baby on the way. Cooper pushes back. He wants to prove himself. He wants to build something that isn't Tommy's legacy, but his own. But the land doesn't care about dreams. It only cares who bleeds for it. Later that evening, Tommy returns home and finds TL inside his office, going through old files, old maps, old mistakes. Tommy snaps, demanding why he's digging through things he doesn't understand. But TL does understand, more than Tommy realizes. TL tells him that Cammy is playing a long game, and if Tommy doesn't start playing one too, she will own everything, legally, publicly, permanently. Tommy resists, but TL keeps pushing, driving straight into the wound Tommy has never admitted out loud. You took Monty's seat, but you never took his power. Tommy finally breaks, shouting back that he never wanted this life, never wanted this company, never wanted to become a man who destroys everything he loves just to win. And TL responds with a line that freezes Tommy where he stands. Then why are you losing everything anyway? The words slice deeper than TL knows. Because Tommy is losing control of MTX, control of his children, control of himself. The episode shows him finally understanding that leadership is not about holding a title. It is about surviving the war that comes with it. Night falls, and while Tommy tries to gather his strength, a phone call interrupts everything again. This time, it's not about Cammy or the board. It's about Cooper. Something happened at the drilling site. Equipment damaged. Trespassers. Threats left behind in the dirt. The message is clear. Someone wants that oil. And they're done being polite. Tommy rushes out, TL right behind him, not because he was asked, but because he knows what comes next. He has seen it before. And as the dust settles over the drilling site, the truth becomes horrifyingly clear. This is not just a business war. This is a land war. A family war. A war where the one resource more valuable than oil is loyalty. Tommy looks at his father, unsure if he is an ally or a weapon he cannot control. And TL, staring into the dark fields, gives the final warning of the episode. You think Cammy is your fight? Boy, you haven't even met the real enemy yet. Fade out. Episode 2 leaves us with a promise. This season won't be about who owns MTX. It will be about who survives it.